Hi, this is Dr. Duncan McCollum, and I'm so glad you're here. You might be listening to this video because you heard about us online, or maybe you're in the office and you're interested in our Cellular Healing Lifestyle workshop. So this is an amazing workshop put together by Dr. Daniel Pompa, and if you don't know him, you should. Go to drdanielpompa.com and you can find out more about it. But he has basically put together some key ingredients that you won't find anywhere else regarding the ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, ancient healing strategies, diet variation, and cellular detoxification. So those 5 things I'm going to explain here, that if you put these together, you're going to get amazing results. If you miss one of them or misapply it, then you're going to have marginal results, end up quitting, and go back to where you were. So the most important thing for you to understand, and if you don't get anything out of this video, let's get this going. Okay, so I'm going to draw a circle right here, and we're going to say that this is a cell. We have 75 trillion cells in our body, 75 trillion human cells. This is where life begins and ends, okay? Now, in the cell is this power plant called the mitochondria. You may have heard of it. Mitochondria, that's like the carburetor on your car, or it's like the fuel injection system. It runs on 2 fuels. One is glucose, or sugar, which comes from anything from a french fry to broccoli to any kind of meat or protein that you eat. And that's not a really great fuel, as it turns out. It's inflammatory and dirty fuel. The other one, the other fuel that this burns, is called ketones. And ketones comes from fat. And it's a very clean burning fuel. It's like unbelievable. It's like burning a gas stove. It's like, it's just, you don't have to have your fan on or anything. It's just perfectly clean burning with very little exhaust, versus a smoky fireplace, which is basically got pine in it that's wet. So when you, any type of food, even good carbohydrates like broccoli or beets or lettuce, burns like sugar, as well as all proteins burn as sugar. So let's see how this affects the cell. So we know that the cell wall is made up of very healthy, ideally very healthy oils. And part of the problem today is these oils have been replaced with very unhealthy oils that are basically crispy, so to speak. They don't allow the cells to open and shut easily to let the good things in, or almost as important, if not more important, the bad things out. So let's take a look and see how the cell works. So basically, let's say there's, you have the bloodstream here that brings glucose to the cell. Glucose is a fuel that we need to survive, but glucose can't get in the cell without the help of something. So we're going to bring in this thing called insulin, which you've probably heard about. Insulin opens the gate to let glucose come in the cell. Without insulin opening the gate on the cell wall, you're not getting sugar, and you're in your cell, you have no energy, and your body becomes very sick and eventually will die, right? Now what happens, because over the last probably 10 or 5 decades easily, we have been told to eat really bad oils, really bad food, and then you advent the processed food with 13,000 additives that the FDA has allowed, and you also bring in things like glyphosate, which is Roundup that has been sprayed liberally over our fields. These kind of toxins get into our body with the food we eat, let alone the air we breathe, the water we drink, and they pollute our body, they pollute our cells. So now you have these cells, just like if you had poison oak on your skin or on your face, your eyes sometimes will be swollen shut. You still have eyes, you just can't see. Well, anytime you have chronic inflammation in your body, the cells get inflamed, and it will stop the insulin from being able to open that port or that gate, so you can't get the sugar in. So what happens is your body starts to make, your pancreas makes more and more insulin to try to force open the gate so glucose can get in. This works for a while, but then finally your pancreas is maxed out. It can't produce any more insulin. And because the walls of your cells, all 75 trillion of them, are so inflamed because of our body's inability to get toxins out and the introduction of new toxins chronically, all of a sudden, the cells are having a hard time getting insulin in, glucose in, even with the amount of insulin that your body makes. So your doctor says, your body can't take care of itself anymore. We're going to give you man-made insulin. So it's like a battering ram trying to push the sugar in through a crispy cell wall. This is very unhealthy. It's called diabetes, okay? Now, traditional medicine is going to treat diabetes by giving you more and more insulin. But what's the real problem here? The real problem is the cell wall. Now, the question is, if glucose can't get in, do you think estrogen can get in? Testosterone could get in? Progesterone? Thyroid hormone? None of these can get in, and the Western medicine is coming up with more and more medications and drugs to handle the symptoms associated with low sex hormones or low thyroid hormone. Autoimmune diseases, there's an unbelievable amount of them in our country. So what we're doing with our cellular healing lifestyle diet is we're actually reversing this problem. The number one cause of chronic disease, and there's 81 million Americans that have multiple chronic diseases according to Michigan University. 81 million, that's a third or fourth of our country. Multiple chronic diseases means 3 or more chronic diseases. It could be an autoimmune disease, it could be something to do with colitis, it could be lung disease, asthmas, chronic allergies, multiple sclerosis. Any of those diseases, okay, have to do with something called chronic inflammation. So I'm going to write chronic inflammation here, put an R in there, 2 M's. It's not inflammation, it's inflammation. So chronic disease is caused by chronic inflammation. Any newspaper article or any magazine you pick up is going to tell you chronic inflammation is causing chronic disease. 81 million Americans have chronic disease, right? So what would be the most, if you were in a business to make money, where would you make the most money? Getting rid of the problem or handling the symptoms? Right now the United States has only 4% of the world population. We take over 50% of all of the medications made in the world, and we're still rated 47th in the world for health. And this has been going on for decades. So if that is a system that's broken, you fix it. If it's not broken, you let it alone. Now, it's not broken for the drug companies, but it's broken for health freedoms in our country and for our ability to be healthy. So the cellular healing lifestyle diet goes directly after chronic inflammation. Because guess what? If we can get rid of chronic inflammation, chronic disease turns around. What's causing chronic inflammation? This is the million-dollar question, or the multi-trillion-dollar question if you're in the health industry. It's called toxins. Toxins? Oh, come on, I've heard about toxins before. I can go to the health food store and get a 7-day toxic flush thing. Good luck. It's like, if you spill red wine on a white carpet and you blot it up, that's about what you're doing. You're not getting to the heart of the problem. So toxins, there's 84,000 toxins dumped into our environment since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. 84,000 toxins, and only 300 of them, plus or minus 100, have been tested for their safety. These get into our body through the food we eat, the water we drink, the air we breathe, the clothes we put on, the cars that we drive, the beds we sleep in, the formaldehyde, the vaccines that we get, the medicines we take, the polluted vitamins that we take that haven't been tested for chronic heavy metals. This toxins is causing chronic inflammation, which is causing chronic disease. So, 3 choices. Treat chronic disease with supplements or medications. I don't care if you're taking supplements or vitamins to treat chronic diseases, or if you're taking man-made drugs. And here's the rendition. If you're in a boat and you have a hole in the boat, you can take a metal container and you can try to scoop out the water as fast as you can, or you can take a gourd and try to scoop out the water as fast as you can. Metal container would be man-made drugs, a gourd would be herbs. If you don't plug the hole, you're just wasting your time and money, and your health is going down, and that's going to, in the end, be very, very fatal for you. So basically, chronic disease is handled by handling chronic inflammation. Inflammation in the cells. The only part of your body that's alive are the cells, 75 trillion of them. Until we get these cell walls so cleaned up that one glucose can let one sugar in, or one insulin can let one sugar in, we're going to continue to be one of the sickest countries in the industrialized world. So we have to go after the toxins. We know how to do that here in our office, but the first thing we need to do is change what we're eating, because inflammatory foods are constantly causing the cell wall to be inflamed, constantly causing increased chronic diseases. And once the cell walls are inflamed, I don't care if you're using glucose, which comes again from french fries to broccoli to protein, or ketones, which I want to talk about briefly here. Ketones, which come from fat, healthy fat, which is a clean burning fuel. So as we're cleaning up the cell health, which we can teach you how to do in the office by changing the foods that you're putting in your body, and then we start to get the healthy ketones in your body that burn very clean. They get into your mitochondria and burn very clean, versus the glucose that burns like very smoky. We can start to stop continuing to make more pollution in the cells. How do you spell pollution? More pollution in the cells, and more toxins. They can't get out of the cells or in the cells. So we've got to make sure that we're burning clean fuel, so that our cells aren't getting inflamed from the inside, and we've got to quit eating or consuming fuels that are filled with toxins, or being exposed to a toxic environment that are causing inflammation of the cells on the outside. Very cool. I hope that makes sense to you. Now, the thing that I want to talk to you about this diet is the thing that makes this so different from anything you're going to get on the internet. And this is what's so important to understand. Not only are we going to teach you about a ketogenic diet, we're not going to teach you how to eat bacon or eat a bunch of unhealthy fats, which is called dirty keto, that's going to make you sick, that you may have some success at first, but then all of a sudden your body's going to crash. We're going to teach you the right way to do ketogenic diet coupled with intermittent fasting. And the cool thing about intermittent fasting, I'm just going to put the cool thing about intermittent fasting is it's going to help your body start to burn the right fuel, the ketones, the fat that's stored on your body. Look down. Now, I've lost 30 pounds, and we'll show you some before and after pictures of that. But when you've got extra fat, it's supposed to be burned. A bear goes into hibernation like this and comes out like this. We're not supposed to carry this around for a lifetime. It causes chronic disease, it causes diabetes, it causes cancer, and all kinds of things. So we want to get you to be a lean, mean fighting machine. We're also going to talk about diet variation. Now, what's cool about variation, hopefully I'm spelling that right, diet variation, nobody's doing diet variation. This is one of the key things you're going to learn on our diet. You're going to eat more or less, different types of foods at a certain time. It could be very complicated or very simple. Our course teaches that. And then the other one is ancient healing strategies. Ancient. I can't spell today. That's not right, is it? There's no H. Doesn't matter. The point is that you're getting the point, okay? Ancient healing strategies. Now, this is stuff that was done, back in the caveman days. These guys knew what to do to become healthy, when to eat what. And that is part of the diet variation program. And then the fifth part is detox program. So we know that we are filled up with so many toxins that cannot get out of our body. The best way to think about this, if you've seen those TV commercials where Johnny got grease on his pants, right? And you could wash the pants and wash the pants and wash the pants. The grease will never come out. till you get the right enzyme, like the little Pac-Man that go and break that grease apart. So until you know how to do that, and every body is different and every toxin is different, you need to be assessed for how to do that, then we will be able to help you detox so that we can break loose those toxins that are stored in your fat cells or stored in your brains. We can teach you diet variation, ancient healing strategies, intermittent fasting, and ketogenic diet. So we have our 7-week course. It's an online course, and we also do it in office as soon as we get to a point where we can have people here again. It's a 7-week online course called the Cellular Healing Lifestyle course, and it teaches you how to boost your immune system. And you go to McCollumWellness.com and you can sign up there. And there's also, you can get a copy of my new book called New Hope for Sciatica, which is going to give you a lot of information, and the book is free you can get it on Amazon, but you can also get it online for free. So there's a lot to know, and you need to hear this several times over and over and over again until you can actually reap the benefits of it. You need to be connected up with a group of people that have been very successful with this, and have some people help you help yourself, and we all help each other get through it. So I hope that makes sense, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Thank you.